Welcome everyone, it's Lexan TV, and on this week's episode, as we continue to celebrate women for International Women's Day, I have joining me on set Miss Anya Chow, the CEO of George of Huggins Company, Grenada Limited. Here's our conversation. Enjoy. Mrs. Chow Chung, and I know you as Anya, but today you are, wow, you're one of the fearless females that I know, one of the few, and I just want to say special welcome to Lexan TV.
Thank you.
And for this special episode, I mean, we are celebrating women and women and young girls and everyone, not just who's sitting in front of me, but we want to celebrate everyone. So welcome again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. You've been sitting in the CEO position for an incredible company, a company that is now 100 years old.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Milestone, and your dad is probably smiling and beaming with pride. How does it feel to be a CEO in a position that a lot of people tend to think, hey, it's a boys' club out there? How does this feel?
Well, this is a question that I've been asked on a number of occasions, and I've always avoided answering it in the context of being a female CEO. I like to think, and I verily believe that I was appointed to the position because I had proven that I had what it took to lead Huggins, to take over from a gentleman who, for the 100 years of Huggins' existence, he worked for the company for 50 years. So I am a product of the investment of a number of men, male executives, who took me under their wing, who gave me the benefit of their experience. So I always avoided the question because I know that my support came from a field of men. But a certain media person asked me that question about a year ago, as a matter of fact, last year around this time. And, I really thought about it because I represent what I believe a number of young women would want to aspire to be. And so over the past 12 to 18 months, I've really embraced that side of things. It hasn't been easy, and I have encountered instances where I felt like the person across from me at the table felt I should not be where I was, or I was not fit. But I would say for the most part, it has been good.
Excellent.
It has been good.
Excellent.
And I'm proud to sit as a female CEO of a really great company.
Oh, yeah. You're beaming with pride as well.
I am. From my heart.
I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
How would you describe your leadership style?
Generally, I'm a democratic leader. I believe in input. I believe in the value of all suggestions. Sometimes a suggestion may not be spot on, but you know what? It provides that sort of impetus for discussion, as I always tell my staff and my team, my management team, there's no such thing as a stupid question or a silly contribution. All contributions are meaningful because, they form the basis for good and healthy discussion. So generally speaking, I'm democratic. But there are times, and you have to be very emotionally intelligent to understand when you have to be an autocratic leader and when you can allow for that democratic purpose. Because some decisions require swift action, decisive action, and sometimes for the benefit and protection of your team, you have to make the decision for them. That's kind of my style, feeling my way through, as to how best to deal with each crisis and each situation, which is almost a daily occurrence my job.
Which is almost a daily occurrence,
Yeah.
and which leads me to my next question, because this in itself, I will think, goes part and parcel with what we've just spoken about.
Yeah.
How do you set boundaries, and boundaries exceeding your CEO role as well, even as a woman, having to deal with various, let's say, challenges and issues? we all at one point in time must set boundaries for what we will accept, what we won't accept, where we draw the line.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good. My late husband used to call me a bleeding heart.
Oh.
You know, I'm not good at setting boundaries, but I'm learning. I'm learning. I may be 4 years into the CEO position, but it's still relatively new. The first line of defense I have put up is between my job and my family life. And that was expedited when my husband passed away. I had to put up those walls for the protection of my own sanity and to make sure that my children were taken care of. And, you know, I've learned that people don't respect boundaries. And for various reasons. Some people think that because you're in a position, they own you, so you have to be available all the time. And if you don't, you get criticized for having poor customer service or this sort of thing. And then there are others who are just going through some rough times and they're desperate. And if they feel that Mrs. Chow Chung is an approachable person, they will approach me. They will use various avenues to approach me, social media, whatever have you. And I try my best never to turn anyone away. But it is taxing. It is taxing. So to answer your question, I'm still learning. Yeah. I'm still learning. But the boundaries are needed. Yeah. They are purposeful, you know, and it's important, especially in decision making, to know who to listen to, when to listen, and when to draw the line and say, okay, this is becoming fluff now, you know? Yeah. So it's a process. It's a process. And anyone who tells you they have it all locked and perfectly together, I would challenge them on that.
Yes, please challenge
You can't
them.
have compassion in business and you know, not at some times, you know, lower those boundaries.
You have had to take up your position, your current position, during a time that was very an emotional period for you. Mm-hmm. Your husband, who I've had the absolute pleasure of meeting, of working along with, has passed on. It's been about almost 4 years. Yeah. How do these challenging moments test you? How do you handle them? You are more than welcome to expound on that particular moment, and you can expound also on other little facets of life that might challenge you. You know, for instance, a little accident happening here, you having to get a tetanus shot or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
But let's talk about those challenging times. I mean, from your perspective as a woman who is, you know, pretty much in control of things, we have our moments. Yep. How was that for you?
You know, and it's important to answer that question, Lexan, in the context of being a woman. Because my husband was ill for a span of 7 years. And when I say ill, you know, various challenges. They weren't all related to the illness that took him away from us. But it was a constant battle. And in between, I had my challenges as well. I had a very difficult pregnancy in my beautiful baby girl. Oh, so I was hospitalized for several months on bed rest. And so it's just constant challenges along the journey. And then I was appointed on the 1st of January 2017. And the same point in time, Mark took a turn for the worst. You know, and I answered this question recently at a leadership seminar I did. And there was only one way I could have coped. First and foremost was my faith in God. That's right. I held strong to my faith. It is what I believe in. It was my personal journey. And it is what held me through, kept me focused on Him. But taking up a new role, as a woman, you have to be mother and you have to be wife. And if you allow yourself to become distracted by work and business, you are automatically a bad mother and a bad wife. There's no forgiveness. If you are tending to your family, even a sick husband, and as sick as he was, you are a distracted CEO. as a woman, you know what, you may not be the right person for the job because, you know, she has these family obligations and she has children. So I am grateful that I work with men who are confident in themselves and who have faith in me, who lack that ego to say that they have to use their maleness in comparison. I got through that period in time because of people. Yeah. The people who stepped forward to say, Mrs. Chow Chung, we love you, we respect you. This is your time to see about what matters, and we will hold the fort. Yeah. I was able to focus on Mark's final months, to be there for him and for my children. And still, thankfully, there's technology, so I was able to at least keep abreast of what was happening in the company. And mind you, I did not have even my predecessor, my father, to fall back on because he had already started taking a turn for the worse health-wise. So it was the wonderful support of my management team, my board, and my rank and file staff. Yeah. It started from the top all the way down, you know, and if we as people in business could understand that people, whatever you do is for the purpose of people. That's right. Right? If you want to run a profitable business, right, you must reward the people who take you there. That's right. And in times like this is when the true value of your employees come out. Yeah. Right? And that is why I will never waver on my commitment to Huggins' staff because I know it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So and then and that train has continued even after Mark passed away. Right. And the year after, which I think was a mess, you know, because you're basically coping. Yeah. You're coping. You're just trying to survive to the next before you can even begin to regain strength. Yes? And that journey has continued, right? Some people fell off along the way, yeah? But I have gained some very, very strong allies on this journey.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
That is fantastic.
And Mark thought very highly of you, Lexan. Yeah, he really did. He really, really valued you. And I think I should mention that at this point.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
If I had to choose a mentor, my mentor would be Jesus Christ. I admire his life because he was a revolutionary.
Today's episode on Lexan TV is brought to you by First Caribbean International Bank, George F. Huggins and Company Grenada Limited, and Mount Cinnamon Resort and Beach Club. You're watching Lexan TV, and we'll be right back after this.
Need one card that does more? The Visa debit card is the one card that gives you access to your cash whenever and wherever you need it. And with instant information about your transactions via our app, it's the only card you need at home, online, or overseas. Visit CIBCFCIB.com or visit your nearest branch to sign up today. The Visa debit card from CIBC First Caribbean. It's more than a debit card.
I know your late husband was a pillar in your life.
Yes.
And I know that your father is a true champion for you, for the team, for your family. Who would you say inspires you, Anya Chow Chung?
You're right. My late husband was, and dad has always been my hero.
Yes.
Dad and mom, you know.
Yes.
The partnership that they still have.
Oh.
They still have, A lot of people know my father, of course, with business and so on. But mommy is the essence of that saying, behind every good man, there's a strong woman.
Yeah.
That's mommy.
Yeah.
And I saw how she was, her example, that rock of support she was always, helped me to find that balance, between strong mother, strong wife, and, good CEO, or trying to be a good CEO, But me personally, right now, when everything has been stripped, there are a few very important people in my life. And almost on a daily basis, my children inspire me.
Oh, yeah.
My eldest Christian, who would have really been old enough to appreciate the journey we were on. Ryan and Sienna, still young.
Yeah.
But I find so much strength and support and wisdom from Christian Chow Chung. Right? He's 19 years old, but he was forced to grow up much faster than his years.
Yeah.
And that young man, Lexan, I go to him for advice. I go to him for advice, and if I were to single out that one person who really keeps me going, in terms of advice, is Christian. And as I said, I have a very close-knit circle of friends and a very strong partnership that I have found now that keeps me going. But you know what? If I had to choose a mentor, my mentor would be Jesus Christ. And I'll tell you this, not because I know everybody, yes, it's our faith, God, all of these things. But I admire his life because he was a revolutionary. And he came to change the institutions that were. He came to change corrupt institutions or things that were accepted, right? He said no. And he was willing to go to the grave for that, and that is the aspect of his life and teaching that I find very appealing. Love above all else, but not accepting that the status quo is and should always be, So, but I've answered in so many ways, but I can't I can't draw it from just one,
No,
Yeah,
and that's the idea. Because sometimes at that point in time we go through certain things that calls for a different revolutionary presence in your life, or and I love the fact that you mentioned your son. I really love the fact
Chris is solid.
that you've mentioned
He's
your
solid.
son.
He's
And
solid.
that's important. It shows the relationship and the bond that you have with your child. And
Lexan, we don't recognize that we can learn from, those older heads, those persons, but you learn every day from your kids.
It's true.
Every day. But you have to be open to it, and not feel that you are the authority and everything.
Yeah.
You have to be open to it,
And we tend to do that.
Sometimes,
Hey.
Sometimes, indeed.
Indeed. As we look at celebrating women, I've taken it up another notch. I know International Women's Day celebrated one day,
Yeah.
but I said, why not? Let's celebrate it for the entire month. Let's have conversations. Let's have women share their stories. For you as a woman, sending that message to all our viewers, and I'm hoping that our younger audiences will get to view this interview amongst the others as well. How important is it for you and extending that message to young women? How important is it to have faith in yourself?
It is extremely important, and if you could just allow me to chat a little bit about that. We represent a number of companies, and there's one in particular which has a very strong women's mentorship program. And I admire, in almost every aspect of their business, you can see that they uphold the highest degree of ethics. It's so easy to do business with them. They're extremely efficient. They deliver a good service. So, you really feel good about representing this particular principle. And I had the honor, at the invitation of the chair of the Women's Mentorship Program, to have lunch. I was in the US at one point and got to share, I was a new CEO, and got to share what my journey was like with her. And I found such inspiration with her because first and foremost, she's a wife and mother, and it was just a simple matter of fact. Extremely good at her job, but she has helped so many people in that particular company.
Right.
And so it is something that I would like to pattern for my own company.
Yes.
And I'm saying this because my journey was very different. I came from a home where dad respected mom, right? I had an elder sister who did extremely well professionally. And that was engendered by the fact that we were taught that you can do anything you want. You can be anything you'd like to be, as long as it was honest work, good work, decent work, right? So my experience growing up was enabling. And I joined a company where the persons at the helm respected the female members of staff. And to discover that there are many women, even in my own company, who don't feel that they should be in positions of at a supervisory level or a managerial level. And I always go back to this one woman in particular who actually backed down from promotion. She tried. She stuck it out for a good maybe year and a half, but she said, no, I can't do it. And why? Why was she not able to do it? Because there were other women in her department who formed cliques and alliances against her. She was 32 years old, and perhaps they found she got too far too fast. And this is my problem, Lexan. It is important for us to believe in ourselves, but it's also important for us as women to recognize that we are our own worst enemy. We always hear about men putting women down, but I think women do that more than men.
Yes.
And you know what? In my personal and professional life, 90% of the times that I was told you can't do this, or she shouldn't be doing that, or was taken down, or was criticized, it's by other women. So I think first and foremost, we have to believe in each other, right? Before we can really find that peace in believing in ourselves. We tend to think that believing in yourself means me first. Me first, and there's this thing, unless I am fine, nobody else could fine. Not really, could be fine, sorry, not really, right? It's a process with many, many, many facets.
It's true.
It cannot be only self-development at the expense of all else, right? Because we're not here alone. We're not on the journey alone. Goes back to the point I made earlier.
Right.
The people have to be there with you, and you can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. So we have to empower each other first, and the first step to empowerment is just not tearing each other down.
Well said.
Yeah?
Well said.
So that's how I see it. But for those little girls who may be listening, make it less about you. make it more about your journey, right? See yourself and what you would like to be. Pursue the good things, right? Pursue the honorable things, the ethical things. You understand? We almost fix in this pose these days, the selfie, the selfie, the selfie. We become so obsessed with our outer gift to the world that we forget that once you get past, you know, the makeup, and I have on plenty, so it's not that time, you know. You like to make yourself look good, but get past that, and then you have to find the substance within.
That's right.
You know, and if you don't feed that, then there's no self-confidence, and you want to leave this world having made a contribution, right? Not just an Instagram page.
Before we wrap up, Ms. Chow Chung, finally, how do you unwind? How do you relax? What is the most important thing for you to do? Read a book, do some of your martial arts? What is it? We'd love to know.
Yes, definitely the martial arts, and I recently discovered an excellent trainer, so I work out, trying to make myself stronger.
Good.
But I found that the journey there has been more mental strength development. You know, pushing past there. Sometimes I don't know if I'm crying or I'm laughing because I can't finish. You know, but you just encouraging you to push past that point.
Yes.
And just I apply that to life now. You know, so I fitness and general health is something that I am a journey I'm on now too, which really does help. It does help with that stress relief. But other than that, you know what? Every now and again, it might be. I hope the COVID committee is listening. 20 people or less, you might get together. And you know what? Drink some wine, or dance, or sing, or just chat. You know, surrounding yourself with good and positive people. Family life, you know, that's my garden is my respite, you know, digging in the soil, planting things, seeing them grow. Good. So I found, at the advice of many people, I found so many ways and means of trying to de-stress, you know.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I might be doing it at 7 in the night, you know, because you have a long day, but you're there, you know, you're there.
And that's good.
Yes.
Shows discipline, eh?
Absolutely.
And then the reward, you know, once you get the rewards, then you're like, why didn't I start this a long time?
Exactly.
So
when you taste that first fruit, you know,
there's no turning back.
Oh yeah.
This has been long overdue, if I can say it.
Yes.
And I'm so appreciative that you got all dolled up just for like
Yes,
TV today. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so thankful that you're here to share your journey, to share your tips, and now more than ever, you know, as we celebrate women and young women, moms, aunts, sisters, that your story will be, I know it will be relatable to a lot of our viewers, and I'm very happy that you've shared from the heart with us today.
Thank you.
Hey, you never know. We might have another chat about fitness or even martial arts. You never know.
With pleasure.
You never know. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And
You're
thank
very
you for
welcome.
what you are doing to showcase women, and that shows your disposition towards enabling others to grow.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
that's
that. You're welcome. All right, folks, certainly hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of our special women's feature for the month of March. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and don't forget to tune into WPG 10 for episodes every Sunday. Until next time, take good care. Bye-bye.